Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loreweek. All the lore to fill your week. I'm the lore runner, lore running the lore for all the lore times. Actually, I haven't done a lore run in a while. Not since the WoW lore run have I actually done a lore run. Ironically, the lore runner doesn't have the time to do lore runs. Not unless I start giving up on the YouTube side of things. What's up, guys? I'm a little tired. I know, that's a common thing lately. I stayed up a little late last night, getting some stuff set up. We actually have a slightly new layout here. I know what you're thinking, oh, you added an image. That's actually not what I mean. So I finally sat down, finally sat down, and finished setting up all of the bits the way I want to set them up. And I finally differentiated the 3 different types of notifications I'll be getting. So now, rather than dumping everything on all 3 things on one image, I now have 3 separate images that you can't see, of course. They only show up when they're triggered. So we'll have bits should be up there, or maybe they're over there. I'm not actually sure which. Donations will be on my face as usual, and that the subscriptions, whenever that goes live, will be separate. So we will have different layouts. And I bothered to set that up and finish setting up the sounds and the GIFs for the bit donations. And of course, I did that for every single thing I have. So on every thing that I stream, the webcam thing like we got right now, the console screen, the 16:9 screen, and the 4:3 screen, all of these are now set up with all 3 things. As you might imagine, that took a little while to set up, but I think it'll be worth it. We'll see how it goes live, because obviously all I can do is test it. Excuse me. Hi, Sonashi. What is up? Hang on, where's my chat? Where's my chat plug-in? There we go. That's a little easier to see. I also I gotta gush, guys. I got the best comment, like, just not even 30 minutes ago. Like, I was driving back. I decided I didn't want to go without food today. That's part of the reason I started late. It's because I decided to go ahead and drive out and get some Subway really quick, because I was hungry. I didn't actually eat dinner last night either. So I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna get some freaking Subway. And as I'm driving back, I get a little bloop, which is, you have a new comment, and I'm sitting at the light, so I just glance at it really quick, and I just start busting out laughing. I can't actually quote it for you. It would violate my own sense of morality and ethics to quote this for you, but it made me laugh so hard. Anybody in chat could probably tell you. I know at least a couple of them are in Discord and know what I'm referring to when I talk about it. Oh, it made me happy. It made me very happy. So anyways, yes, there's it also includes a word I just can't bring myself to say in general, but that's regardless of the point. Yeah, go ahead, Roximus. Go ahead and tell him what the comment said, because it was great. It was on my Hearts of Stone rumination specifically, which I don't know about you guys, but I personally think I did actually a really good job of. I know that sounds terrible to say that, all egotistical, but I actually was really happy with the Heart of Stone's rumination. Oh, there you go. Valvedrix just linked a screenshot. You can all see the gloriousness of the comment. It was great. I love it. We don't have a lot of news this week, which is good, because we actually have a few other things to do. I want to let everyone know, so first of all, Team Fortress 2 was the one that won. So Team Fortress 2 is officially getting added to the rotation, and nothing else. No Unreal, no Civilization 6, nothing else. You had your chance, guys. So we will be playing at least a little bit of that today. I have no idea how many people are going to want to play Team Fortress 2, but this is your alert that if you want to join us, that you should go download Team Fortress 2. It's free. Just as a heads up, it is free. You don't need to pay for it. You just need to spend time downloading it. So that's what we're going to be playing. We will also very likely be playing at least a few games of Heroes of the Storm. Not because, I just want to force it onto the schedule, but because we have a weekly quest. And I don't know about you guys, but I think it would be awesome to get that done as a group rather than trying to pug it, which we actually can't even pug it at all. So, excuse me. So for anybody who wants to get the weekly quest done, anybody wants to go ahead and finish the weekly Here's the Storm quest. Yes, I know, we'll have to do PvP. PvP will at least be tolerable if we're with friends, is my thinking. Because even if we lose, we still get credit. That's important. If we had to win, I would be significantly more upset. But I digress. So, just giving you guys a heads up, let's go ahead and talk about the very little news we have. Let's just hit the big thing right up front. Darksiders 3 was announced. I know a lot of you probably already heard about this. It was actually leaked by Amazon. And then they were like, oh god! Oh god. No, you cannot war wager. They changed it this week. Not sure if this is a universal change for Heroes of the Storm in general, or just for this thing. But yeah, anyway, so Darksiders 3, guys, yes! For those of you who don't know, the Darksiders series is an awesome series that does not get the love and attention that I believe it should. However, I will also point out that every time I bring it up, there's at least one or two people who say, yeah, Darksiders! Because Darksiders was awesome. But for those of you who have not played Darksiders, let me explain it to you very simply. It's God of War mixed with Zelda. That's it. That's what Darksiders is. That's what Darksiders is. Go play it right now. Darksiders 1. Darksiders 1 was good. Oh, wow. Roximus did it say. Darksiders 1 was good. I enjoyed it. Darksiders 2, like, stepped it up a notch and was much more enjoyable, in my opinion. And they did some more interesting stuff with the story. Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2 also occur alongside each other. So while Darksiders 1 is happening, and while those events are happening, Darksiders 2 is also happening. From what I understand, the same will also be true with Darksiders 3, and theoretically, if we get to the point where we have a Darksiders 4, where we are playing as, Strife, I think? God, I don't remember. They use weird names for them. It's like War, Death, Fury, and Strife, I think, are theirs. But anyways, if we play as the Fourth Horseman, it will also be alongside, so all four campaigns should be theoretically going along at the same time, assuming they are doing this the way they originally intended. And then Darksiders 5 would be the epic finale after we've done all four. I'm just poking around at this. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a while, actually. I'll talk about this, though. We'll talk about this. So yeah, Strife. I was right. It is Strife. So I'm really excited about it. I've always kind of dug the lore of Darksiders, but I've also loved the gameplay of Darksiders. It's one of those games that's just good, that you owe it to yourself to at least try a bare minimum of one time. As mentioned by chat, oh, absolutely, Roximus. As mentioned in chat there, I guess I should answer Roximus' question directly. Yes, I will actually be doing a premiere run of Darksiders 3. I'm looking forward to that. Words. They released a gameplay trailer. Like an 11, or no, excuse me, it was like an 18 minutes of just gameplay footage. Actual, real, no really, gameplay footage. Think about that for a minute. I mean, I know that people probably are tired of me saying this, but it's such a rarity to see real gameplay footage that every time I see it, I feel the need to point it out and be like, look! Gameplay! Look! They're doing it right there! They're actually doing gameplay! So that's awesome. I'm very excited about that. They also... So, one of the things my personal... Yeah, it was pre-alpha, but they advertised that very clearly, and obviously, yeah, this is pre-alpha footage. One of the things that I like about what I've seen about it is it appears to be very fluid gameplay. Now, as War, you were kind of a brute force, you know, giant sword. As Death, you had a lot more range, you had a lot more, like, you were effectively a caster type. I mean, I know that doesn't equate perfectly, but that's how I always felt when I was playing Death in Darksiders 2. Darksiders 3, we're playing the agility type. Dodge, dodge, you know, stick and move. And I like that style of gameplay in general, that's very much appeals to my overall action RPG style of gameplay, for lack of a better term. So... that's awesome. I'm very much looking forward to playing as that. It looks like they're keeping the overall Zelda aesthetic. We're still going to have puzzles, what I actually refer to as Zelda puzzles. You know, not if this person was to wake up at 5 miles from this person and this person. No, it would be, you know, hit this switch and get this guy over here, and you got 5 seconds to get to this other thing and do this. You know, Zelda style puzzles. You know what I'm talking about. Zelda-style puzzles. Any kind of any of the 3D Zeldas especially espouse Zelda-style puzzles. So that's awesome. I'm excited, guys. I don't actually have much else to say, unfortunately, except for one little thing. So this is the reason I'm so excited about this isn't just that it's Darksiders continuing, although I am definitely excited because of that. I am further excited about the... For those of you not aware, when... I can't think of the name of the company all of a sudden. What the hell was the name of the company that Darksiders used to be attached to? THQ. When THQ died... You know, I actually remember, and I talked about this because this happened after, I started doing the show. When THQ died, a lot of people were just like, who cares? It's THQ, whatever. I've never even heard of THQ. And yet, the more time went on, the more it became obvious how many great franchises were under the THQ label. And it just became more and more of a tragedy. As it's like, no, we've lost this, and no, we've lost this, and no, we've lost this. And I remember when Saints Row 4 came out. I know this sounds like a weird tangent, but hear me out. When Saints Row 4 came out, I was just like, oh my god, they managed to finish off Saints Row. That's fantastic because of the whole THQ dying thing. That's the reason I'm so excited. In real life, when a company dies and it gets chopped up piecemeal, like what happened to THQ, that's one of the worst outcomes, by the way. That's one of the worst possible things that can happen to an overall game umbrella company like that. They go bankrupt, they completely disassemble, and all of their franchises get piecemealed out. That is horrible. That almost happened to Marvel once upon a time. I can't even put into words how damaging that is to the creative process and to the continuance of anybody who actually gives a damn about their franchises. So to see one of those franchises continue forward is just, yes, that's amazing. They have actually managed to hold on to the rights. They've dodged the legal issues that exist. They have managed to maintain the franchise. And, as was pointed out by someone in chat, War Wager, it's mostly the same team making the game, so same general level of quality going forward in Darksiders 3, and that is exceptionally rare. It is so rare that a company dies and its franchises and IPs get chopped up, and one of them manages to keep going. That is uncommon. Now, Nordic, I was actually about to bring that up, Darkrai. Nordic is a lot of the reason why this has happened. Nordic is one of the better, one of the reasons why this, and of course, Deep Silver managed to allow Saints Row to go. They definitely deserve credit as well. And of course Sega, which has been pushing Warhammer 40k. So thanks to some people who are in suits, who have brains, we are still continuing to have several of the awesome THQ franchises, and I think that's fantastic. And yeah, I was going to point out, Homeworld was the other one that was really important to me. We got Deserts of Karak, which in my opinion was a phenomenal game. Like, Deserts of Karak may actually be my favorite Homeworld game. The only reason I say maybe is because I haven't replayed Cataclysm recently. But it's Deserts of Karak or Cataclysm. They're both up there. Yes, by the way, as was pointed out in chat, Darksiders 1 and 2 are super, super cheap right now. They're mega on sale. Again, I highly recommend it. Do I actually... That's a good point. I'm not sure if I have copies of those. I should actually check those. I would love for Red Faction to continue as well. I was a big fan of one of the Red Faction games, and that was sufficient for me to be invested. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I have... Okay, looks like I don't, actually. I must have been playing Gary's copy. I probably don't own Darksiders 2. I'm going to fix that really quick. Well, I need to add Darksiders 3 to my thing. I gotta put that there. Let's see here. Hang on, guys. I gotta find. See what? I can wait. I just need to remember to pick up Darksiders 2 at some point. So yeah, that's all awesome. I'm very happy about that. It's one of those rare circumstances where things should have gone terribly and they didn't. Oh, by the way, real quick, I'm sorry, guys. I need to pause for just a second and scroll up a little bit because Neo Dante Cyan is new to my stream. Hi, welcome to my stream. Shoutouts. Don't be a stranger. I love chatting with viewers. I love reading that chat over there. It's why we got it up on the screen. And just warm welcome. Don't be a stranger. Unless you want to be a stranger. That's okay too, if you really want to be. Okay, I need to procure a new copy of it, Lurker. That's the problem. Remember, I couldn't find my disc. I found the box, but I couldn't find the disc. You remember that? I don't know if you were there for that. Anyways, so yeah, you remember last week we talked about story in games, whether story needs to be in games. And we talked about all the different permutations of this. And I think we all kind of agreed... Hi, Anthony. Well, I think we all kind of agreed that you don't need story in most games, but it was a matter of opinion as to whether or not story could add to a game. You know, it was my opinion that there really is no such thing as a type of game that story cannot add to. So Dota 2 is coming out with a story mode. It's actually a single-player campaign mode. What are they calling it? Silt Breaker is the name of it. Now, anybody who's followed Dota 2 knows there's actually a little bit of lore behind Dota 2 anyways. There's actually... I mean, League of Legends has lore to it, too. This isn't exactly new to add lore to a MOBA. But they're actually having a full-on campaign. In fact, it's actually a co-op campaign, which is even more awesome. Like I said, Silt Breaker, it's part of the Battle Pass. You have to spend $10 in order to get the Battle Pass in order to get it. The first of these, it will be 2 acts of the campaign. The first one goes live this month. The second campaign will be going live in July. You also get some rewards for doing it. I don't know what those are. I don't know Dota 2's system that well. It's $10 to play the single-player campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, Dota 2 now officially has more story than Heroes of the Storm. Don't know what to make of that. I'm as shocked as you guys. But I just point this out because I actually recall one person last week when we were bringing up, what kind of games shouldn't have story in them. At least one person said MOBAs. Now, I disagreed with that, and I've talked before about my idea of story being in Heroes of the Storm, and how they've actually slowly been adding, like, little tidbits of story, but they haven't actually gone full tilt with it. Apparently, Valve got there first, and decided to, again, have a full tilt, hey, Ginger Ninja, a full tilt story mode campaign. Cool! I'm with it. There's also some question about... How do I put this? Valve hasn't really made a game of a single-player story-based variety in a long time. So there's some question as to whether or not that will be a thing. Like, if it will still be quality, if it'll still be interesting, if it'll still be the Valve standard. Because, I'm sorry, Valve does actually know how to make very good story-based campaigns, or at least they used to. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the last time they actually did something like this would have been Portal 2's DLC or expansion, whatever the hell they want to call it. The free one. With the co-op campaign. I believe that was actually the last time we've seen them doing that. It's been a long time, guys. So we'll see how they're doing this with dipping their toes back into the water here. I may actually pick up Dota 2 just to play through that. I haven't decided yet. I'm not actually a huge fan of Dota 2 in general, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I just thought I'd share that. That's cool. That's actually all I have for news, believe it or not. I do, however, have 2 things to talk about after that, and then we'll get to our other stuff. So, first of all, let's go and just do this. I'm trying to think of a way to properly visualize the fact that caramel M&Ms are awesome. Seriously, you should try these. I'm trying to think of a way to visualize this. So, for those of you not fully aware of how we're doing Multiplayer Sunday now, we've got a roster of games, a lot of which are Blizzard games, and we do one, and it's taken off the roster, and then we vote, and then we do one and take it off the roster, and we vote, until we've got the last one, and then the roster refills. I've been trying to think of a way to succinctly and quickly visually demonstrate this, so you can just look and be like, aha! It's this one is available for the coming week, or this is what's available for the coming week. For anybody who just wants to know what might be coming up and isn't aware of the vote. So, one of the ideas I had is setting up a widget on the side towards the bottom of the website. Something, maybe just a few quick panels, like darkened for it's not in the rotation, bright if it is in the rotation, and just kind of listing the games. I don't know. I'm just tossing this out here. Any ideas, guys? I'm willing to take thoughts on this one. And now I've got to pause and wait for the thing to come up. Oh, by the way, for those of you who care about World of Final Fantasy, I got zapped! There's a story behind that. What are the games? Well, I actually have to sit down and make a list here. So we've got Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft 2, Team Fortress 2, which has now officially been added to the rotation. We have to PvP to get credit, Deutsch. That's what it means. In other words, we have to fight other players, not AI. I think that's it for the non-Paradox ones. Then we had Stellaris. Crusader Kings 2. Europa Universalis 4. And that's it! No, seriously though, I do believe that is actually it. Anybody... no, Takoida Broforce did not win. Unreal Tournament did not win. You guys had a chance all last week to vote for the underdog game to be attached. And the one that won was Team Fortress 2. Maybe, Roximus. But that, I believe that is it. I believe that is the regulars. Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft 2, Team Fortress 2, Stellaris, Crusader Kings 2, and Europa Universalis 4. Civ 6, unfortunately, did not win. Civ 5, nobody ever voted for. Unreal Tournament, whenever we had anything else, nobody ever voted for. Nobody ever voted for, any of the other things. So, democracy, guys. That's the list. That's what we got. Now... we have a couple of ways to do this, but at the moment, I don't actually remember... Yeah, I know, right, Jonago? So that's why EU4 is kind of down on the list. It takes like 5 minutes to install, Roxamus. Come on, man. Left 4 Dead almost got in. Civ 6 almost got in. Hey, not Simon. So, we've done Overwatch recently, we've done Heroes of the Storm, we've done StarCraft 2. So, obviously, we're going to be playing Team Fortress 2 this week, but that's going to basically reset the board, and then the week for this coming week, we'll be adding in, everything. It'll be back to the normal thing. The other thing we could do, and this is something that's been postulated a few times, and I want your guys' thought on this. A lot of players want to kind of continue the Paradox games, as in... we actually have an in-progress Stellaris game right now. So, for example, we could voot for... we're playing Team Fortress 2 this week, but rather than have a voot at all, we could have Stellaris next week and just continue the Stellaris game. And then we voot for the week after that, which would be from the other things. In other words, Paradox game, random game, Paradox game, random game, Paradox game, random game is the idea. Which is something that admittedly appeals to me. Especially since that whole evening thing might not come into being. So, thoughts? Anybody? Whoops, I just realized I did this wrong. Oh, come on, really? There we go. There we go. It's 2 pixels off. And now I wait patiently. Anyways, let me go ahead and talk about the other thing. Civ 6, unfortunately, did not win War Wager. So, Hazel won. Zawun will probably be up for Team Fortress 2. I know he was a big campaigner for Team Fortress 2, so I'm okay with reserving a slot for him. Hey, Mafia Monk. Let me discuss something else. Let me take a timestamp when we're talking about this. So, I've recently I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like to sit down and constantly nitpick my own stuff. And I say I like to. That's actually not true. I don't like to do it, but I do it constantly. Which Lorewyn did I have the most fun doing? I'd say it's a loose tie between Mass Effect, Dragon Age, StarCraft, and Final Fantasy. So, and KOTOR. I'm constantly trying to nitpick and fix my own stuff and improve things, I mean, as you can kind of see here. But I wanted to kind of explain something. Because I, of course, reached out to viewers, as I often do, for their advice and opinions. Now, this has led to some interesting advice, as I talked about yesterday. But I do want to showcase something, so let's go down to here, shall we? Now, I've heard some people complain about this layout. They look at this and like, oh my god, this is terrible. And obviously one of the bigger reasons is because the game takes up a relatively small amount of the size of the screen, right? I wanted to really sit down and actually explain... Oh no, WoW was on there too, sorry. WoW was on there too. WoW was absolutely on there. The WoW lore one was amazing. I was really happy with that. Except for the fact that I lost one of the best episodes. Anyways, let me explain, because I don't want to just sit and be like, hey, I do this because whatever. No, I want to give you the specific reasons why I do things the way that I do them. So, let's start with the basics. Logic chain, right? I don't know why chat isn't working right now. But hang on, Deutsch. We're going to talk about that. So, first and foremost, it was actually very complicated, Simon. Basically, several of the episodes of the WoW lore run did not record locally properly. I've actually since come up with a way to make sure that never happens again. But back then, some of the things, I could lose a local recording if I lost power, or if there was an issue with the recording or whatever. And so I would have to rely on the Twitch VODs for those. However, in some cases, the Twitch VODs would not be sufficient, or wouldn't have the whole footage, or Twitch themselves would delete them. So, long story short, it's gone and never coming back. Moving on. So, why is chat not showing up? Hang on, let me switch up to here really quick, and then back down to here. Maybe that'll like reload it. Chat has to be on screen, and I really wish it was working so I could demonstrate this. Let me explain this. There's three possible perspectives here, okay? Have chat over the game, or don't have chat. So, the very first question I have to decide... There we go, there's chat. The very first question I have to decide, ever, when it comes to setting up my layouts, is this question. Which of these three things will I do? Now, I have tried many, many, many times to showcase what it looks like with chat covering the game, and it looks terrible in almost every case. The chat... Yeah, I know, right, Sonoshi? The chat either is indistinguishable over the game, in which case it shouldn't even be there, or it blocks relevant parts of the game, or it just looks ugly. So chat covering the game is not actually an option as far as I'm concerned. So our only options are have chat or don't have chat. Now, as Sonoshi just mentioned, back in the day when I used to stream without chat, let me explain why I have chat on the screen. It's for the VODs. It's for when you're looking at this on YouTube. It's for when you're rewatching this. So that you can see over there that Uri the Guri has never played any FF except FF Tactics, and then I can respond, say, well, Uri the Guri, FF Tactics is awesome, but you should totally play the other FFs. Now you know what I'm talking about, because you can see the chat over there. I have seen my own streams. I've seen the Final Fantasy Marathon, and I've seen other people's streams where they don't have chat on screen. And it is irritating and frustrating and terrible, in my opinion, because you have no idea who they're responding to or why. You can't. It's like literally hearing half of a conversation. So chat has to be on screen. So now we've determined this. Like I said, we're logic chaining this. There has to be chat on the screen. Next question: chat has to be visible. Now, when I'm looking at the screen, a huge chunk of my fairly large yes, but YouTube does not, does it, Deutsch? So when I'm looking at this, also for those of you not aware, Twitch no longer permanently archives videos. They have gotten rid of that feature. So as a result of them getting rid of that feature, I kind of have to rely on YouTube even more than I already was for archiving my videos. Ergo, the only way to see chat on screen is to have it on the screen. So, chat has to be on screen. Now, when I'm looking at my screen, the next thing we have to decide is the amount of space devoted to chat. Now, right now, my screen is almost universally dominated by this. So I've got like this much space. So I have chat, and it looks huge right now. But I have to take into account several things. First and foremost, you have to take into account the fact that a lot of people might be looking at a window like this big, or they might be looking at it at a different resolution, or on a laptop, or on a phone. And so, as you deal with all of these problems, you have to try and basically come up with a font size, which is about 48, by the way. I've actually done the math on this. I have to come up with a font size that just about everyone can see relatively easily. That's why the chat is so large over there. You'll notice it is a relatively large font size. Again, 48. I know that number because I've used it many, many times. I've done all the math on this. I've done all the... Believe it or not, I've actually taken classes and professionally worked as a graphics designer. I know that's weird, guys. So you have to decide that next. Size of the font. Well, 48 is the minimum. Now, we can go up from there, but we cannot go down from there. That's how this works. Okay? Next, now that we've got that set up, we now determine, okay, how much space on the side of the screen has to be devoted towards it so that at 48 font size it doesn't look too squished. Now, I've fiddled with this, and actually I'm going to show off another thing right down here, and I hope someone will talk. 4x3 is actually a lot easier to work with. 4x3 is easy. I mean, I got that over there, and I've got this right here. Boom. See, so I've actually got more space for chat. But this is still the 48 font. On the other one, it's actually closer to about this, give or take. There, right about like this. This is, actually, hang on, let me... There, right about like this is how much space you have over on the 16:9 thing, as opposed to this. But this way you have, as you can see there, like when Rory just said a couple of sentences, you can still see that without it being too big. You know, it's still possible. My point being, if you say like a large paragraph, it'll probably take up most of the screen. But if you were saying normal sentences, you can only see, it looks good. You with me so far? This is the point. So we've determined the width of how much space. Now let's go back up to the 16:9 because this is relevant as well. So now that we've determined the amount of width that is the bare minimum for chat, now we have to start thinking. This is where we start getting into questions, okay? When we've got the width, which is, I want to say, actually I can just look it up. I've actually figured this out in the past. The width, the bare minimum width is 316 pixels, okay? 316 pixels for chat. That's the bare minimum to make it look like what it's looking like over there. Now, Deutsch earlier pointed out I could increase that. That is possible. What I could do is I could gain back roughly 40 pixels. Average. I don't remember the exact number, but it was about 40 pixels if I were to get rid of the overlay. If I just completely erase the overlay and just have the chat up over there with no backdrop, with no nothing, and the game squished up to it, I could increase the width of the game by about 40 pixels, or the width of the chat by about 40 pixels. Those are my options. So I've got about 40 pixels to work with, so I can decide. I now have three options. Do I put those 40 pixels towards the chat, 40 pixels towards the game, or 40 pixels towards a layout? Now, as you can see, I kind of chose a layout because this is my opinion, again, as a graphics designer. I feel like having that FF6 chat box, which I spent hours working on, and, you know, this kind of background thing we got going for the webcam and all this, I felt that this looked better, looked nicer, looked neater than just having chat with a window smashed up against it, because to me that looks kind of amateurish and not good, basically. It looks plain. So that's why I personally decided to use those 40 pixels for the layout. And this is also one of the reasons why most of these layouts I use are predominantly sprite art, because only sprites can actually be visible with so few pixels, and you can still tell what it is. I already mentioned that option, God Mode, and threw it out the window because it looks terrible when you do chat over the game. So, now we have determined the rough amount of size that has to be allocated for the chat. By definition, we now know how much size is allocated for the game, because this is a 16:9 game. A large number of games cannot be streamed or recorded or played outside of the 16:9 format. a very large number of games. This is Lanes Between from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. A large number of games cannot go in the 4x3 format. They have to be 16:9. So I have to be prepared for this format, which means, again, unless I want to push those 40 pixels out, this is as large as the game gets. Can't get any bigger. It's stuck. I literally don't have any pixels to spare unless I want to start getting rid of the overlay. So, now that I've determined how large the game can be, I have a huge problem. This giant freaking band of space down here. Team Fortress 2, Lycon. And this has been such an aggravation for me. This space down here has irritated me for years. And I have tried many different things to fill on this space. Now, I personally think I've gotten a good idea for this. So, as you can see, we've got my webcam here with my own little webcam window, and the world spinning behind me, and the Imperial symbol right here. But then that still leaves me with that giant space over there. Now, originally what I would do is I would just have like a logo or an icon of the game I was playing. But that's a huge amount of space devoted to just a logo, and I didn't like that. So nowadays, what I do is I either have it for death counters, or like Sora is stupid counters, or for my rating system. In other words, I have decided to try and use that space efficiently, especially when I'm doing a review thing, so now you can see quickly and easily, and of course, because I have so much space, ironically, this actually worked in my favor. It's easy to tell what you're looking at over here. You can see the minuses and pluses quickly and easily, even if you're watching on your phone, because the font can be huge. In fact, I think this is like 55 font, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at this really quick. Yeah, it's huge. And I have enough space in order to be able to do that appropriately, and now I'm officially using the space for something rather than it just being a giant blue box over there. All of this is the thought process and the thought cycle that I put into designing these layouts. I mention this because I have a strange feeling that some people think I just throw something at the wall and let it stick, and that I don't spend hours and hours and hours polishing and refining these. This is actually my fourth iteration of this layout, of the chat, game, box, me layout. Because, holy crap. Because I want to do better. It's me. You can ask Gary. I am a huge perfectionist. I constantly want to do better. I also have... This is what it looks like without the layout, by the way, just to give you a little bit of an idea of the difference. I have a couple of other layouts that I have designed over the years. I've got a Zelda one, which is based on LTTP. I've got a Mass Effect one. Or wait, that's actually a Shovel Knight one, excuse me. You know, I've got a few that I've designed. I also have like a generic one that just kind of has my background there. You know, I've done a few of these layouts over the years, but I kind of default to the FF6 one because I think it looks fantastic. So this is why, and the reason I wanted to go into this, I don't want to like talk down to anyone. I don't want to tell you you're stupid. That's not the point. I want to explain, A, that I do spend a lot of time and effort working on my show, and B, that I want to explain why. For me, I'm not the kind of person who will go to a child and a child says, "Why do I have to hold your hand across the street?" And I say, "Just because." That's not how I think. You know, when my niece says, "Why do I have to do this?" I like to explain the why. That's the kind of person I am. And that's why I'm explaining to you guys why this layout is why I do it, rather than just saying,
"Of course you follow me. They all do."
Rather than just saying I do it because, I wanted to explain why I do it. I want to explain the whole reasoning and the whole logic chain that leads me to this. And thank you for the donation. Let me go check that out really quick. Was not ready. Oh yeah, speaking of which, while we're explaining things, some people have asked why don't I, turn down the sound or get rid of the sound for the donation notification. You are all my children, Roximus. You are all my lore walkers. I do have... Oh my god, Dark God Mode, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me set that up. Hang on a second. Let me just do that really quick. Yes. Agree. Yes. Thank you so much, God Mode. I cannot wait to play through that game again. Guys, God Mode just gifted me Darksiders 2. God Mode, you're awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, Jaludo. Anyways. So I was actually specifically going somewhere. Oh, right. As long as I'm explaining things. The whys I do. So let me talk about the donation thing. For those of you who don't actually remember, once upon a time, I actually had a problem where people would donate and I wouldn't notice. And people in chat had to say, hey, I just donated. And so then I could go and manually check. And that got to me after a while. And finally it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to fix this. So I specifically set up sound files for the original donation stuff that was designed to be loud and catch my attention so I wouldn't miss it. So I was like, okay, this... So I originally actually used the Mega Man 3 sound, which is actually still there for the large donations. And now, of course, I use the Alarak voice clips for the regular donations, for the normal donations. And so I've heard a relatively large number of comments from people being like, oh my god, why does he not change the sound file? Why does he not leave it if it startles him so much? The whole point is to get startled. The whole point is to notice it. It's the exact same reason. Hang on, I can demonstrate. I can give you another demonstration. I can do this. I have a specific song set to my alarm clock. That song, come on, is this. And that startles the hell out of me every time I hear it. Because that's the point. The entire point is to get my attention and wake me up. So that's why I use those sound files, and that's why I let it go. Ugh! So I can be like, okay, I've got a donation. I know how to go check for it. It's a Metroid, you know, escape immediately. It's Metroid. Come on, you. You know what? Hang on. You know what? You're right, guys. I'm sorry. Why don't I just play it for you? I have the music up. So this makes me up. As hopefully you are now awake as well. This is a good switch from Illusion of Gaia, right? So anyways, so that's why I do that. Lol, Darkrai. It's okay. Get grinding, Roximus! Get grinding! Go! So that's why I do that. Now, of course, it is... I actually wanted to demonstrate specifically, so I actually built a separate thing here, just to demonstrate this. Where's the actual game? There it is. Because I actually showcased this yesterday. Now, of course, I don't actually have a thing on right now. No signal. Behold the power. You know what? Actually, hang on. I got an easier way to do this. I just want to demonstrate something real quick. Like, we'll do that. And yes, Roximus will be streaming tomorrow, while I am not streaming. I will be working on the Paper Mario Theater thing. Anybody wanting to be involved in the future Paper Mario Theater things, please let me know. Because I'm very likely to be finishing that up as soon as I get... Basically, all I'm missing right now is Darkrai's Luigi stuff. No pressure, Darkrai. I'm just... That's all I'm missing now. And then I'm going to start working on the next episode. There we go. Okay. So let me pull up this thing, which is right here. Okay. No. There, okay. So, I'm just doing this really quick to demonstrate. We're not playing this yet, although I do plan to play this today. This is kind of what it looks like when chat is covering the screen. I could also remove the ticker there and the tip jar. But this right here is, just to explain, this is what it looks like when chat is kind of covering the screen. Now, there's a few other ways to do this, but I don't like this. I feel like it is very distracting, and it doesn't really look that good. Now, some of you may know I do this normally for my Blizzard Sunday stuff, but the reason I do that is because that stuff is not being VODed. I'm not recording my Blizzard Sunday stuff or anything like that. In fact, in many times I've actually thought about just flat out not having chat on the screen because there's no real reason for chat to be on the screen when I'm streaming something that's not actually being VODed. So, you know, getting rid of that. So this right here, again, visual demonstration, because I want to show why I don't do this particular style of displaying chat. Because again, remember, through the logic chain, chat can't be smaller. That is the minimum size right there for chat. So the only thing I can do is make chat bigger, which would take up more of the screen. I could make chat bigger. That is something I could do. There's only one thing to do. I must make chat super good duper big. Quick, I want everyone like to start talking really quick. Just start talking. Say lots of sentences, guys. I'm very curious what this is going to look like, actually. Wow, that looks interesting. Yeah, meh. Behold! I love it! I love it. It's the best. I was waiting for someone to say Lorem Ipsum. Oh my god. I should totally start streaming Blizzard Sunday like this. I should totally just start doing this right here. And he's totally got the ball, I think. Wait, no, maybe he's going over there. No, I can't tell. Did he just die? I can't tell if he died. What's he doing? Oh god. He's being attacked by something? I'm not sure what he's being attacked by. Hey, Locke the Night Reaper, what's up? I don't recognize your name, so shoutouts. And welcome to my stream. As I say to everyone, don't be a stranger. I love chatting with viewers. I am the Senate. Genji is the Senate. You can see through the blinders. I can actually make those the background thing even less transparent, so that literally all you could see is the blinders. I should totally do that. No, I'm not going to do that because that would mess with the other chat. Anyways, let's go back to this, shall we? Okay, so since I'm not actually playing Heroes of the Storm, although we will be playing that later, why don't we figure out Team Fortress 2? Oh, right, I'm still recording. So for those of you watching us on YouTube,